everybody. Welcome to, of course, another edition of Box Seats. I'm your host here with comedians known as Talent. He's joining the show. And, of course, Fig, who's joining the show. And, of course, now, since the thing is, there we go. There we go. I see you guys working in there. You guys not familiar with these guys? These guys have been in the comedy game for a very, very long time. And they've been in it for a while. They've been in comedy film. Specials, travel the world, the Army bases. Now they're on a sports talk show, which we call the Box Seats, where we discuss all the latest stuff that's happening in sports. Before I jump into it, fellas, what's happening, Talent? What's happening, Fig?
You see us. You see
Yo,
it.
man, it's good, man. I'm enjoying that theme music, man. Doom, 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 doom. We need to get a rap to that. I don't eat no pork. I don't eat no bacon. I don't know what's going on because Box Seat is shaking. I don't know.
Can we change the lyrics because it's a big bag of pork rinds?
All right, let's jump into the show. We always normally get this thing off with the COVID report. Yesterday, I talked about Japan, the IOC president was having issues, and of course, that's the head of the Olympic Committee talking about going to the Olympics and everything else. And here's the biggest news, Talent. It looks like some of the other committee members are not going to join him or going over to the Olympics either. So the Olympics could be in jeopardy of starting for the first time ever in history of not starting on time. So when you hear about that, Talent, what do you think?
Well, to be honest with you, I thought when we talked about it just yesterday, I thought that that's the direction we were heading anyway. Because once you start hearing committee members and the people who are supposed to be, the most important decision makers not being where the Olympics actually are, sounds like we're heading for a delay anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised today with the extra information. Right.
Okay, let me throw it over to you, Fig. What you think?
Man, I don't want to go to Japan no way, man. We need to switch it over to China. Because, we used to Chinese food. I don't know about that Japanese food. We eat no raw fish and sushi, all that, man. Just move it to China somewhere. Or back to the United States, and we'll do a big bubble.
Okay. What? That's your answer? We're going to leave it at that? Okay.
No, man, right. It is what it is, man. Listen, man. They was walking around over in Japan with masks on long before we had COVID. So they already had their own issues. You add COVID to it, man. It just don't seem like a good environment to be in.
Right. And that's all. Speaking of the news that we talked about yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about Bob Baffert, and we were talking about his horse, which is called Medina Spirit. It was all caught up and doped up and everything else. Talent, after they did some more news and dug and everything else, people are talking about having Bob Baffert's horses and everything else banned completely from the sport and having him not participate, not only have his Kentucky Derby championship stripped, but having him not participate at all ever again in Kentucky Derbies or any horse race, as a matter of fact. Do you think he should be banned completely?
Well, I think it's a legitimate discussion. You know why? Because what I found out reading deeper into this yesterday after we got off the air, because I found it very funny and intriguing. This is not this guy's first rodeo.
Right.
No right. Pun intended.
Right.
This guy's been in trouble with this doping or drugging, whatever, before. So now he's trying to say that somebody did this, somebody set him up. Somebody slipped the drugs to the horse after the fact. Because he's swearing up and down. I know we got in trouble for this before, but we weren't doing these drugs or anything. So someone must have doped the horse up, because this is a post test, after the race. But I'm not surprised, man. If somebody did it and they could prove that, then yeah, you can probably not be banned, for life. But if they find out that you really actually did this, to me, man, fool me once. You know what I mean? I'm one of those dudes. Fool me once, but to keep doing something, to me, you don't give a damn about it anyway.
I would say this. It almost seems like baseball. I don't even think it'd be a discussion if it was baseball or any other sport. But Fig, the way the billionaires be playing at is in horse racing, and he's a billionaire. So should we give him a chance, or should he just be banned regardless of how deep his pockets are? What do you think?
Man, first off, I think the thing is, if you're a billionaire, then what you do is you get somebody else to put your horses in the race. Billionaires, they shut down one company and they opened up another one under a new name. It's almost like what we do in the hood when the club gets shot up. You just change the name in the club and say it's under new management. It's the same thing, man. And you can't blame the man for what the horse did. The horse back there in the stall sniffing cocaine and doing drugs and stuff like that. How can he be responsible for what his horse does?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I understand what you're talking about. I get it. Let's move on, because what we don't want to do is keep talking about billionaires who, and their problems. Like, that's ridiculous to me. Like, we all got real problems.
You don't want to talk about us.
Yeah. These dudes crack me up. And Black History news, which is also sports news, Talent. There's now an all-Black female broadcast team. They're getting ready to call all the Atlanta Dream home games, and they are Lachina Robinson, Tabitha Turner, Angel Gray, and Autumn Johnson. They made Black history, and not only just Black history, they made sports and in the NBA and WNBA history by becoming the first all-Black female team. And everybody in Atlanta is excited about that. It might even draw a crowd of just people to be there, see them, actually broadcast the game. What's your thoughts when you hear about this news, Talent?
Well, a good thing I don't wear weave, because those prices are going up. I'll tell you right now. All Black females cast, man, listen. And in Atlanta, I mean, first of all, they need it because they're changing the culture and they're changing the total appearance of that team. You know what I mean? So that they're going to be calling the Dream Games is perfect, because remember, the owner that they just ousted, who just lost her seat, in the last election. So the climate change just went like real fast, vice versa. It wasn't even a gradual change. It was an abrasive, fast change because of the climate of the country. So this is an awesome thing right here. I mean, I always like to see history be made, but this kind of history is the best kind of history. Nice.
Exactly. Fig, your thoughts?
Man, I think it's dope, man, because if you're ever going to have a true representation of a city or a state, and you got 4 Black women, Atlanta's the state that you want to the city that you want to represent, because what they call Atlanta, Black Hollywood, you know what I mean? We know that the makeup in Atlanta is predominantly Black. It's full of Black women. They usually rally behind each other when something is going on positive and stuff like that. You see Black women get on board. I think it's the time, you know what I mean, is for Black women to step forward and start doing some things. And I think this is just the beginning of a lot of things very similar to this to come. I think it's time, man. Black women will be making a lot of history from here and going forward, man. It's high time.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think that we'll ever see in our lifetime an all-Black women sportscast team broadcasting but an NBA game? Talent, what you think? You think we actually see that?
Hell no.
Okay. Tell me
no.
more.
I think they're going to use the for lack of a better word, they're going to use the same excuse that we used to get here, which is inclusion. So the more inclusion you get, the more you can't exclude too. You know what I mean? So all we can hope for in the grand scheme of things is an equal balance. So meaning, like, let's say it's 4 sportscasters. We got to hope 1 or 2 are women, 1 or 2 may be Black, but then you're going to have that Hispanic or Asian and Anglo-Saxon regular white. And I mean, you're just going to have to always, exclusion and inclusion is very tricky, because the people that you fight to get inclusion can also use your fight against you so they don't get exclusion.
Okay. So that's your thought.
Yeah, I think for a full all-female thing, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think we'll see it. Not like that. But this is great.
Well, in our lifetime, I think we will, because you got Lisa Leslie, you got Candace Parker, you got you got a couple of you got, excuse me.
No, but I mean, even with what you're saying, Frank, you gotta understand. You got a lot of women. I'm not saying they don't exist, but we know the capitalists that's in this country, and they're constantly competing, right? So let's say you name 10 Black women that are capable right now. It don't matter. It's going to be 10 networks fighting for them. So everybody's not going to sign to the same thing. You know, if I want Lisa Leslie and I'm ESPN, I'm probably going to spend a few more dollars to make sure she comes here. And the same thing said for Fox Sports. Same thing said for Nesson up in your area. You got the New England Sports Network. You know what I mean? We got MSG. We got so all of these programming. That's why content is king, and that's why there's so much programming right now. You know what I mean? It's so much program. We grew up on, you could count on your hand how many channels you had.
Yeah, I remember that. But
yeah, so I think it's going to spread out. That's the only reason I say that.
Oh, okay. All right. So Fig, I don't know what you're yelling, but go ahead.
Yeah, man, because you asked Talon the question and then you give my answer right after he get finished saying it. I'm like, yeah, man, that's exactly what I was going to say. You know, the Candace Parker, the Lisa Leslie, the Sage Steels, the Joy Taylors, one of my favorites, Kerry Champion. I think that is very possible because you said the NBA. You know, you didn't say like NBA, right, NFL, whatever, and stuff like that. There's a lot of them that already they already do the broadcasting on the NBA games and what have you. So you see them during the halftime with I think right now it's Candace, it's Shaq, and D Wade that's on there. So I think in the very near future it's very possible, because I believe that the country is trending in a different direction in a different area. You know what I mean? Now it's just something that I foresee, and I think it's quite possible. And, you know, look, for Black people to get their say and to get their due because they're qualified to do it, I think it's, you know, in this country, it's been over 400 years. I think it's about time. The one person that I would like to see be able to come back, because she was very knowledgeable and knew the ins and outs of quite a lot of sports, is Jemele Hill. I'd like to see her come back too, because she's just like amazing with, you know, her insight and her knowledge of sports in general and the ins and outs of the game, whether it be football, basketball, or whatever. She was really knowledgeable and quite educated on all of it. And I'd like to see her get another opportunity.
Yeah, well, she probably will with Fox Sports or something like that. She won't with ESPN because of what happened with her and everything else. Plus, she's not a sports broadcaster in that sense. She's a sports reporter. So there's a little bit of difference there. But like I was going to say, and the thing I think is I think this thing is happening in Atlanta can start a trend, whereas we could possibly see it in NBA, because this is what I thought you were going to say, Talent, is that if this thing is successful and they look at the ratings of what's going to happen to the WNBA games in Atlanta, what they put these 4 Black women together, and let's just say the Atlanta Hawks are having another season where they're not doing too well, or just any season where they're not doing too well, I think that you could easily see the NBA saying, let's put together, you know, 4 of these Black women who we already have, you know what I mean, who are already broadcasting on a national level. Let's put them together for maybe a doubleheader game and see what our ratings are like, especially if they have to do a doubleheader game and contracted with a team that's not doing so well in the ratings. You know what I mean? And I'm only using Atlanta as an example because Atlanta's not doing so well, but you're contracted to broadcast so many amount of games by so many amount of teams on a national level every single year. You know what I mean?
I just think Atlanta's an easy target to do this.
Oh, yeah.
I think nationally it changes because, again,
yeah,
you're not going to just put these things together and exclude a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people, males, transgender, all of that you got to factor in. So I don't see, for the sake of doing that, all this exclusion happening, because you're going to have a certain amount of exclusion to have inclusion. We're trying to get equality. So if it's to go all Black, more power to us.
It all Black for one game, I could see it happening, right? All Black for one game, but
let me tell you something. Nobody's bigger than Shaq in them right now. We talk about sport, and he's still got a white buffer in there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And those are big names.
Yeah, but nobody. But you know what's kind of funny is that none of those guys are in broadcasting. You know what I mean? Like none of those guys are like anchors. You know, they're like ex-NBA players, and they, you know, they give their opinion. But Ernie Johnson, you know what I mean? He's a broadcaster. He's like an anchor. And to your point, Frank, is that Stephen A. came from that reporting, you know, era. That was his genre before, you know, he became an on-air personality. So I think it's possible, you know what I mean? And Atlanta unfortunately, Atlanta will probably have to do well in order for this to be a possibility, because, you know, they give you that one shot And unless your ratings are through the roof, they be like, yeah, man, we gave it a shot. But remember that one time and it didn't work, and then they'll never give it another opportunity again. And to Talon's point, I mean, we seen an all-white cast, you know, broadcasting games and stuff like that. So why not the flip side? Possibly. I don't know. I believe that all things is possible.
I could keep going on and dissect the difference between what Stephen A. did and what's her name did and all that, but we got to move on. We got to move on because it's really, you know, there's so much time, but we don't even have that much time. Speaking in the news, the Lightning, you know, in the NHL, they have their first ever all-black line that made NHL history after starting a game versus Panthers. Now, for those of you at home and don't follow the NHL like I don't follow it at all. When they're talking about a line, they're talking about the line means they have all three people, and you know the NHL has lines. You got line 1, line 2, line 3. It's never ever been in the NHL sport where all three black men were lined up at one line and they were on line 2. So again, more black history. The Lightning, they had Matthew Joseph, Mel Smith, and Daniel Walcott. They did this in an NHL game, first time in history. It's 2021. And we're still making black history.
Well, first of all, that was an accident. 2 white guys had to go to the bathroom. So you got to read the whole story. It's deep. So that's why that happened. But I mean, Fig just said it. He said, hey, for a long time, we've been seeing it this way. Now, given the country's climate and America waking up, so to speak, and it's half the nation has already been woke. Let's call it what it is. The problem is not the people who already been woke. The problem is the people who were claiming to not be woke were the decision makers and the power brokers. Mm-hmm. Now the climate of the country has finally got to a place where the decision makers and the power brokers and the politicians are saying, you know what, y'all got a point. Let's do something. So you're going to see more history be made day after day after day. You know, I don't doubt none of this stuff. I just also know that for the fact those power brokers and those deal makers are not willing to bring us all the way up to equality if it means excluding them. So shout out to them. Shout out to Black History. Every day I love a piece of Black History getting done, especially in this climate right now.
I would just want to add one caveat. I'm sick and tired of us having Black History right now. We should already had this Black History years ago. You know what I mean? It's 2021. Why is still Black History still happening? It's the part I'm happy for it, but I'm still on the flip side. In my opinion, I'm still mad that we still having Black History in 2021. But Fig, what's your thoughts?
I think it's long overdue. But what is disturbing to me is they got these 3 black guys and they on the line together, and it's never happened before. But they put them on line 2. Why they couldn't be on line 1? Why you gonna have them just start on line 2? They can't be on line number 1. I mean, the only time black people get a chance to be on the front line is if we're in war. And this is absolutely ridiculous. This is racism at its highest, and we need to stop it. I want them on the front line right away.
Please hold, sir. I'm going to transfer you to line 1. I'd like to add this, though. We're always going to make Black History. I mean, I'm not mad because I always like new stuff, whatever. Just for the record, my last white girlfriend, I was her first black girl.
While he eats chips and talk about that.
Time out.
White potato chips.
Time out. There's a disclaimer that Talent did not put in there. He only did it for the black race. He was trying to get information and infiltrate, and he needed her to get behind enemy lines.
I was
information.
You seen that movie? I was in too deep.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say the spook who sat me by the door.
You remember that movie when Ella was undercover?
In too deep. Yes.
Was that your birthday weekend? Does this happen your birthday weekend? You was in too deep? I just want to know.
Hell no, I was around too many black women. They'd kill me.
Yeah, I bet they would have.
You know?
All right, y'all, let's continue over this conversation. Especially because he I know in Talent he want to jump into something that married men can't talk about, and I can't, on record, I can't talk about that. This Negro's good for that. Let's move on.
I need plausible, as a married man, I need plausible deniability. I need to be able to say no. I was not.
Deniability, I'll give you that. Plausible, can't promise.
This big bro. See, there we go. See, there we go. See, you trying to have me sleep on the couch tonight. Let's continue on with the show, man. All right, the next news item I want to talk about, I'm gonna throw it to you, Talent, is because Logan Paul, we had a conversation about Logan Paul having that thing with Floyd Mayweather last week. We were talking about that. We thought it was fake and everything else. Now, I'm not sure if it's fake now because Logan Paul hired some bodyguards with him. They're around him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whenever he hits the door, he goes outside. And I don't know if this is part of, if this is some kind of sham that they're trying to make people buy more tickets. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, Talent. I'm kind of suspicious of that. I think it got out of control. I think they planned something. And I think it got out of control. And now he's really, concerned about other people because even other people are trying to attack him and other people are upset. What do you think?
Right. I think, to be honest with you, I think in a weird way, I mean, we all know at the end of the day it's money, but in a weird way, I think they created a hype that they're going to go ahead and believe themselves. Chips are going to fall with it. Maybe people are going to make a ton of cash or whatever, but I think in my heart of hearts that it might have started being silly, but they have a way of, it's just like rappers, man. Like they'll start just going back and forth with each other. Next thing you know, I see you in the street, I'm gonna kill you. You know what I mean? So I think they believe it. I don't think that the public necessarily believes it to the depth that they believe it or may want us to believe it, but I think that they believe it's real.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I think they do.
It's just almost like a rapper type of thing, I think. You know how people they took that rapping stuff so much. Hey, Biggie lost his life over that. Tupac lost his life over that. They took it to a whole nother level. What you think, Fig?
Well, I mean, it's really only to our knowledge, it's really only happened once in history that it ever elevated to that level where two icons in the rap game lost their life over a personal beef that they had with each other, and the fans got involved. But I believe in this time and era, as crazy as things are, I believe things could get out of control. But the bottom line is, I got the inside line on this, and I want to drop this since we're on this show, and I think it's it's a good time to do it. Logan Paul had this in his contract because what happened is Floyd always has bodyguards with him, and Logan Paul said, just to make it even, just to make it look good, I got to have some bodyguards with me too. So this was negotiated in the contract to make the whole thing look good. And that's the inside story. You heard it here first on Box Seats.
I think it could be a gate thing, though. It really could be that they're trying to make sure they make the most money. You know what I mean? Because right now they're on track to be breaking all kinds of records, which is insane when you got a dude who's a YouTube star going against one of the best middleweight champs to ever fight in the game, ever.
Right.
Oh, hey, listen, man. Social media stars have seemingly taken over the industry. And I know definitely they have in the comedy world, because comedy clubs are booking these social media comedians, you know what I mean, that have a lot of following, because at the end of the day, you always know this is a business and people equal numbers and advertisers. So this guy had a big following. Now, had this Logan Paul had 1,000 followers, Floyd wouldn't have paid him no attention whatsoever.
Well, you're trying to make this show longer than what it is. I'm not trying to have that whole long discussion. We can talk about this again for a whole nother hour. Because again, we already know, like, that's definitely true. Let me jump into the next topic. Because at the end of the day, too, this next topic is going to be something that people be scratching their head with. And here's the topic. The topic is Tim Tebow. He got signed last night, yesterday afternoon, right after we got the air. He got signed by the Jaguars. Now, the crazy thing is he hasn't played in the NFL since 2012. You know what I mean? 2012. So I'm upset with the fact that it's been since 2012, and a person like Dez Bryant came out. Dez Bryant is 29 years old, got released by the Dallas Cowboys. Then he got picked up by the Baltimore Ravens when he was 32. He came forward yesterday and said, I don't know what's going on in the NFL. He said, I have never heard of no NFL player been out since 2012 and to sign with a team in 2021. It's almost 10 years. I ain't never heard of that before in my life. But that don't seem right. He said, but I can't say nothing about that. And I think he was trying to allude to favoritism, racism, and a whole bunch of other isms in this whole thing. Now, that's what Des Bryant said. That's not what I'm saying. I could even go even further. But Talent, first you tell me what you think, and then we'll go on from there.
I think exactly what he was alluding to. I mean, of course, he can't say but so much because of their contracts and getting blackballed in their league. But it doesn't take a rocket science to see, that there's two everythings in America. And that's what the whole climate is about. The whole climate change and the whole fight for equality, that's all it's about. It's like you're using two floor plans with, every situation. If it's black, we're going to go this way. If it's white, we're going to work with you to, give you every incentive, every piece of help, the best doctors, this, that, the third. You could speak up, you could rally, you could curse the owner out if you like. You could pull a Aaron Rodgers. The Packers, I'm out. But then if you are black and the Texans, you're trying to lead. What about those rapes? We wasn't gonna say nothing, but now that you want to lead, bring in the crew. Those are all my masseuses. We know who they are.
Exactly.
Fake, what you think?
Yeah, man, it is white privilege at its best. Tim Tebow hadn't been in the league in 9 years, and all of a sudden, he's one of the greatest tight ends that you ever wanted to see in your life. Also, Tim Tebow is the first NFL player that we can remember that actually took a knee during the national anthem and got several opportunities to continue to play football and even allowed to join a Major League Baseball team. And now to come back to football in his hometown. If that ain't white privilege, somebody please tell me what is.
The crazy thing is, let's make sure we understand this and talk about this fact too. He's playing out of position. It's not like he's even coming back into play in the league in the position he was playing. He's coming even into the league and had a tryout and got a turn to play on the Jaguars out of position. Rodney Perry, who's joined the show, tell me what you think about Tim Tebow joining the Jaguars as a tight end after being out since 2012.
I mean, here goes, man. And me and the guy had a conversation last night about this. And he was really upset. He's like, well, why can't Kaepernick play? I mean, I think it's kind of another argument. I mean, the dude had to give up. Because if you remember, the biggest thing with this guy is that he didn't want to change positions. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to make him a fullback, right? Or something like that. And so he finally acquiesced after all these years and they give him a shot. I guess he's still a good athlete. He had a tryout. So is it white privilege? Probably. But he did have to change and give up something to do it.
Okay. The thought for me was, and I'm going to throw this to you, Talent, before we go to the next subject. The thought for me was, if Tim Tebow can go into the league after being out for so long, and you have a Hall of Fame sure to be wide receiver who was sitting on the sidelines since 2019, and he's having a hard time trying to find a team. There's definitely, I thought NFL was about who was playing first and the best. It's definitely about favoritism and the good old boys network to me. That's what I wanted to make, because there's no way in hell Des Bryant should have been sitting on the sideline from 2019 until the beginning of last season without a job, and Tim Tebow playing out of position comes and ain't been in the NFL since 2012. So Des Bryant has a huge point, and hell, there's a lot of players who have a huge point with this that they can say. And the word is in the NFL undergrounds and everything else, a lot of people are upset about this, not just a little bit. They are extremely upset about this. So, Talent, what you think about just Des Bryant? I mean, like I said, man, this is a big thing to me. What do you think, Talent?
I mean, it's huge. It is the elephant in the room of football. It don't take a rocket scientist to see what's going on here, but it takes for guys like him to, and I understand that they walk on eggshells and everybody cares about that check, but to me, I'll be honest with you, you cannot be but so mad if you're not willing to come out and speak on it. Fig said it yesterday about, standing up for something with the Olympics and all that. If you truly believe in something and you truly want to stand behind it and see change, you're going to have to step outside the box. So with that fine print writing say, hey, you can't say nothing about it, you might have to get fined. You might have to get suspended. You might have to get reprimanded, but to shine the light on them. You know that song, Shine the Light on Them?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You might have to do that.
Fig, what's your thoughts about the Des Bryant situation I just mentioned?
I echo exactly what Talent said, because sports within itself is supposed to be the one place that we find in America where it's supposed to be a meritocracy, where equality is above and beyond. The best player gets to play on the field. And that's what sports is supposed to represent. The problem is the optics here is what the NFL is telling us is that Tim Tebow, who was a failed quarterback in the NFL, is a better receiver than Des Bryant. That's what this is saying. It's screaming loud to everybody that has an ear to hear is that Tim Tebow is a better receiver than Des Bryant. Somebody please explain that to me because I can't figure it out.
And Rodney Perry, that is exactly my problem because there's no way in hell Tim Tebow is a better tight end, wide receiver, any positional player than Des Bryant because Des Bryant is an All-American and sure to go to the Hall of Fame. And he sat out for 3 years, and it took him a long time to be able to find the team. It took him a long time just to get a shot. Rodney Perry, please explain to me, bro.
Okay, I don't think it's the same situation as Des Bryant. Does race play a factor? Absolutely. Race is a factor in everything in America. That's part of this country, who we are, right? So, but I don't think this Tebow. This is apples and oranges. Like this Tebow thing is. I'm searching for a good analogy. Maybe Tyler can give us one, but I think this doesn't have nothing to do with Des Bryant. Like. It's not like Tebow is going out for a wide receiver. Des Bryant would never change positions. Des Bryant would take a bullet to the head before he came out there and did something else like be a damn tight end. You know, so Tim Tebow, whether we like it or not, is probably good for that team. That team is not a good team. And they're probably about to open these stadiums up, and this is a draw for them. So I think we should probably open our minds up to look at this another way. Is it possibly racism? Maybe, but I mean, Tebow is a good white boy, man. They like white boys like that.
Listen, it's a ticket draw. You hit the nail right on the head. It's at 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, a reason for them down south. In Jacksonville, Florida, where Tebow played at University of Miami, it was University of Miami. It's definitely for them to draw tickets and sell tickets.
Miami and Jacksonville is two different things, too.
True, but the same state, too. So, they know they got a lot of Tebow fans down there, too. That's all it is.
Duval County ain't white.
Huh?
Duval County is, okay.
No, I understand that. I get that. I'm just saying it's a ticket draw. Listen, to me, and I got to move on, but to me, there's no way in hell a player should be able to make it in the league after being out since 2012 and get even a shot to come in 2021.
It don't make no sense. Jacksonville, Miami, same state, different weave.
Yeah, exactly. Let's continue on, man. Let's move on. I got to talk about my man, Russell Westbrook, because he made history last night. He broke a record. I swear to you, I never thought was going to be broken. If you had asked me this time last year, would Russell Westbrook break the triple-double record set by Oscar Robertson? I'd have said, hell no. There's no way he's going to do it. Russell Westbrook right now is the most underrated person in the NBA, in my opinion. And I think breaking Oscar Robertson's record should prove to everybody else out there he should be in conversations as one of the best to ever play the game. You agree or disagree, Talent? What you think?
Disagree.
Disagree.
I mean, we're gonna have record breakers come and go, and all types of weird records. I tell you all the time, they keep making new records up every time I turn around. The most 3-pointers with one shoe unlaced. So with all these crazy record makers, you're gonna have mad record breakers. Is he good? Do we put him in the level of good and great? I wouldn't argue with that. But when I say he was one of the greatest that played the game, still a lot of people I would put ahead of him. You know what I mean? But I read something where that if he's qualifying as a point guard, not the shooting guard, because he's a natural shooting guard, but if you put him as a point guard, he's in the top 3 of all time. That's what they said.
Yeah, that's not what I said. But
I don't agree, but that's what's said. Because if you list him as a point guard, breaking that record moves him up. You know what I mean?
Right. But Fig, I'm gonna throw it to you and say, when you're having a conversation of one of the best guards to ever play the game, and at least in the top 10 for rebounds, assists, and points scored, how can you not at least? And before the conversation was Oscar Robertson was in that conversation. How is Russell Westbrook not? Is my point.
Who moved my cheese? You move the goalposts and you let people break records because you move the goalposts. Then is the record still the record? If you took 100-yard dash and cut off 20 yards, and then people started breaking the record, is it the same? I mean, you changed the game to facilitate some of the stuff it is that he does, and you change some of the rules, and you change some of the defense, and you take away the hand checking and the grabbing, and you turn a common foul into a flagrant 1, and a flagrant foul into a flagrant 2, and you move the big man out of the middle of the paint, and you get them to shoot 3 points. Then is it exactly the same? I mean, I love Russell Westbrook's game and all of that, but this record thing, man, it irks my nerves to change the rules and then to give these guys the same credit as the guys who were before them, who preceded them and had to go through greater obstacles in order to be able to do what it is that they were able to do, and then to make these guys equal to them or better. That's sad. That's a sad testament, man. Sad. It's almost like giving a trophy to everybody. They take the kids and they give them all a participation trophy. It's just absolutely ridiculous, man. I love Russell Westbrook and what he's been able to do, but I don't know. The record don't mean that much to me, simply because where the wins to go along with it.
And Rodney Perry, do you agree or disagree with him? What's your thoughts?
What you think?
I think you disagree. I disagree. But go ahead. What you tell me?
Okay, let's start. Okay. Let's say that Mr. Fig is right. It's definitely a new league, a new way of playing. But let's also realize that these guys are the biggest and the fastest they've ever been. These guys are the athletes today are better than the dudes when Oscar Robertson played. Better. The league was Oscar Robertson played. The league was still 85% white.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're gonna get a damn triple double. Playing with all white boys, football. Yeah, that's it. No, I'm gonna score this time. Watch out, little white boy. First of all, to my esteemed colleague, Talent, a triple double is a legitimate record. Now I know it's records out there you don't like, but a triple double is the real deal.
Yep.
It's not like they made it up. It's new. And how about this? I don't even like Russell Westbrook. I think he turned the ball over too much. If they add that stat in, he got a quadruple double every game. Every game. Yes, he broke the record last night, but he missed the game-winning shot.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook will go into the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. Is he the best at that position? Maybe not, because it's more than one barometer.
All right, let me throw this out there to you all. Here's the thing. Let me throw this out to you all, and I'm sure y'all minds are going to change on this. If this was Magic, Talent, did the triple double, would your thought has changed? You have been like, oh, because Magic, everybody was predicting that Magic would have broke Oscar Robertson's record. Now, I think, in my opinion, that people today would have more accepted it if it was Magic versus being Russell Westbrook.
But I don't think it's a point of acceptance. That's not the point. I don't think people are having a problem accepting it. I think again, I'm not talking
about hold on, before you finish that. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about you. You said that you don't look at it.
Oh no, I accept it, but it doesn't. What I said is this: I respect the record. And for the record, when I said all the fake made up records, I'm not talking about the triple double. Obviously, that's a real thing. I'm talking about all this new extra LeBron shit, Rodney. So my point is this. I accept it. That's not my problem. But I'm listening to the pundits and where they're placing him because they're classifying him, first of all, as a point guard. If you watch Russell Westbrook and you watch his career, he's a natural shooting guard.
Right.
Forced to play point guard. But if you go into the books and we say he's going to be a point guard, now they're like, where do we place him? A lot of people, because they had Oscar Robertson at 3, their third best, and he broke that record, they catapult him to either up above him at 2 or to the 1. I said, I don't do that. He's still not at my top 5 point guards of all time. Now, it's not about acceptance. Here's the thing. Magic was so damn good at what he did. He was winning and gunning and doing all types of shit that he didn't need to break the triple double record. His career and body of work spoke for itself, open and shut. Russell Westbrook, if you take away the triple doubles, his career doesn't say open and shut. This is something he needs to hang his hat on.
All right, well, what you just said, Talent, I'm going to just throw it out to Fig. And what he just said, Fig, you heard what he said? To me, it's even more impressive because he played out of position and he got triple doubles and he broke Oscar Robinson's record. My thing is this. People easily respect Magic more and would have gave Magic more accolades because it's Magic. Versus, I think people are not accepting this thing and everything else because people just don't like Russell Westbrook.
There you go. I just said that and you told me you didn't say that. Didn't I just say people accepting and you said, I'm not talking about.
I said, no, I'm not talking about accepting. I'm talking about liking. I'm not talking about it. Okay. I mean, we could do semantics.
Take back. You just said the exact words what I said you said.
No, I didn't. But okay.
Hey, Fig, did he not just say, I think people ain't accepting? You just said that.
No, I ain't say accepting because you could accept somebody. I'm saying
you
liking.
You just said it.
I'm saying liking. I'm saying liking. People don't like Russell. Okay, well, you know, this is how you get into arguments with single men. See, I don't do that. I don't do that. Married man.
I think. Listen, in my opinion, the reason why I believe that people would have accepted it more so from Magic Johnson is because of Magic Johnson. Going along with his triple doubles was 5 championships. Right. You know what I mean? So that's a little different. And we also know that the HIV virus robbed Magic of quite a few years of his NBA career. Right. So, you know, we had Magic in a shortened version of his career, and like I think he's like maybe number 3 or number 4 in the whole triple double thing, and he played in a tougher era where you could clothesline a player, Kurt Rambis, going up against Boston. And it's a regular foul. It was a tougher era. Him and his best friend in the whole world, got into a fight in the finals, and nobody got ejected and fined and thrown out for a game. It was a different game, a different era. It was tougher. It was harder. So just by that alone, the triple double was more difficult to get.
Right. Rodney think this era was tougher, but let me say this one thing to you, Frank, before I pass it to Rodney. I don't necessarily agree with because you change positions is an extra accolade, because actually your natural position and positions that people claim to play rob other people. Like, perfect example, I'm a big ass San Antonio Spur Tim Duncan fan. But the fact that he's registered as a power forward is straight bullshit to me. Because now you done took away from the Karl Malones and the Charles Barkleys when they come to the all-time list. When motherfucker, you 7'3", you're a center.
Right. They're gonna do
Anthony
the same.
Davis is doing that now.
Exactly.
Okay.
I was just took the words right out of my mouth. They're gonna do the same thing with Anthony Davis. They're gonna make him a power forward because he don't want to bang with the centers because he's glass-like.
Okay, Rodney Perry, you didn't have a chance to talk about this. Go ahead, Rodney. Your floor. Floor is yours.
You know what? I love my guys, man. They want to harken back to a time when the guys had guns in their waistbands, and that's nice. I get it, man. Yeah, we want the league to be more violent, but it's because of those times that it's not like that now. Like Magic probably got HIV on the court.
Oh, wow.
I hate this guy.
Right, it's terrible, bro. It's terrible.
I'm just saying, we don't know. It was a tougher time. Yes, it was tougher. It was tougher. Yeah, it was tougher. You're right, Fig. You're right. I thought about it. You're right. It was a tougher time. Hey guys, my butt hurts. Anybody else? It was fouling the hell out of me last night. They should wait. Hold on, Fig. No, they should call that. Why are we not calling these fouls? Forget it. I'll just deal with it.
Rodney Perry, again, you're crazy. I just want you to know for the record, you're crazy.
Listen, I'm going to say this.
Hold on, I'm not finished. I'm not finished.
All right.
Yes, it was a tougher time.
Oh, God damn.
And we as humans have to look at it like that. The question is, and Frank, you put it eloquently, do we dislike Russell Westbrook enough to keep putting him back? Because the question is, we like Magic. Okay, I think it goes down to what Fig said. If Russell Westbrook was winning games, it would be hands down. He would be head and shoulders above all of those guys, in position and out of position. But he's just not winning games. And to question his likability, he don't have it, man. And that stuff matters.
All right, so
I'll tell you this. I don't dislike Russell Westbrook, not in the least. And I know that maybe some of these guys may be more athletic, but you know, when you think about it and you go back to some of the athletic guys that played back in the day, I don't think there was anybody that was more athletic than Wilt Chamberlain. You know what I mean? By all the things that he was able to do to Bill Russell's. Charles Barkley was a monster. So I mean, when we say more athletic, I take that with a grain of salt. I just don't, you know.
Let's move on. The next hot topic is the biggest news that we got to talk about also is Jaylen Brown for the Boston Celtics. He got lost for the season with the injury that he encuffed, and he fell down and his wrist basically got tore. They said it's a 5 to 6 month type of thing. The Celtics too, and I'm a Celtics fan. I'll be the first one to tell you, I think they're in trouble because the Celtics, if the season was to end today, the Celtics would have to play the Hornets, right? And in the Hornets situation is a pretty bad situation right now. So the Hornets versus the Celtics without Jaylen Brown are in trouble. Now, I'm going to start with you, Fig. You tell me, are the Celtics, are they in trouble, or do you think that they can still make it past the play-in tournament? Because they got to face off right now. They'd have to play in the play-in tournament. What's your thoughts?
I don't think they're in trouble to make the playoffs. I think they could. I think the Celtics, as they are, stand pat could beat the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, they have a pretty decent team over there. They started winning and stuff like that. But I think the Celtics would be able to hold their own. Are they going to the playoffs? Are they who we thought they were in the beginning of the season? Absolutely not. It's something that seems to be missing with that team. To be quite honest with you, I think that I think they have too many of the same type of player. You know what I mean? All good. You know what I mean? The Jaylen Browns and the Kemba Walkers and stuff like that. I think they have too many guys that do the exact same thing. And then when you come to their front line, you like, it's non-existent. They got a lot of guys who are basically seemingly backcourt players.
Well, the Celtics got hit with a lot of injuries this year. They still dealing with the injuries. They're dealing with COVID. They're not the same team. They're not the same team. But anyway, Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts? Are the Celtics done?
Oh yeah, the Celtics was done yesterday. They was done before losing Jaylen Brown. They had a glimmer of hope with the guy like Jaylen Brown, and I think one of you guys said yesterday that I think Talent did that they have guys that are not cohesive. They're not a cohesive unit, and that makes a difference. So I think that was their problem more than anything. You know, they have guys show up every night, but it's a different guy every night. It's never a team game, and so you lose one of those guys, or you lose the night that a guy shines. So yeah, it's sad they lose Jaylen Brown, but it's good to get off that ship when it's going down.
All right, Talent. The question is, are the Celtics done? Will they even make the playoffs? Are they done after they lost Jaylen Brown? What you think?
Oh, my bad. I dipped out for a minute. I thought the question was, should y'all sell the Celtics? I was coming in with a hard yes. I heard the front part. I assume that's where it was going to end up. So the answer for that, by the way, is a hard yes. But for this right here, yeah, I think you guys are done. Again, when we brought it up yesterday and how they were playing as a team, I was like, you should be very worried. I said that yesterday. And I think now this is that straw. But here's the good thing, man. I know we love instant gratification and we love things that happen fast. This is going to be better overall for the Celtics going forward. Yeah, you're going to miss this one here. You're done in this postseason or whatever. But I guarantee you the comeback is going to be resilient. I guarantee you that. And I don't really like Boston, that much. I mean, I don't like the color green unless it's the Jets jersey.
This is what I think they should do. I think they should lose, and they possibly will lose, so they can get a higher draft pick and see what happens. But anyway, that's the show. We got to roll up out of here. Yeah, we got to roll up out of here. Talent, tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Hey, started a new website. We're selling the Celtics.com. I'll be live on that for the next week, 8 o'clock every night. We are selling the BostonCeltics.com. It's your boy on Twitter. I'm at It's Just Comedy.
Fig, tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Yeah, I'm at Comedian Fig on all social media platforms and bomb Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. baby. I'm on the box seats, and I'd like to start up Taco Fall Tuesdays for the Celtics. Taco Fall need to play center every Tuesday for the Boston Celtics. Taco Fall, Taco Tuesday.
Rodney Perry, you got something to hot off the wire before you roll up out of here?
I did. I just got this. It's crazy. I'm glad your wire hit too, because you get the wire too.
Yeah.
I got this. Man, wow, this is crazy. It's like Ronnie DeVoe just got picked up by the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, but that's not what my wire said. But go ahead.
You don't have Ronnie DeVoe just coming.
No. See, you know what my wire said? It says shoot all single men on site with yellow shirts.
I'm married, man. I'm married. Hold on.
Yeah. And if they get away, shoot Negroes with straw hats and black. I got that on my wire.
That's crazy. Rodney Perry, RodneyPerry.com, the website, Rodney Perry Live on all social media.
Y'all, thank y'all for watching the show. The show's called The Box Seats. It's on the Humor Mill channel. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 to 2, talking about what we always talk about. Tomorrow, we have got to have a conversation because the NFL's releasing their schedule. We have to talk about that. Aaron Rodgers is recruiting players to play with him somewhere else. And Devontae Adams is trying to roll out with him wherever he goes. We got a huge conversation to talk about that tomorrow. Yo, you're not going to want to miss that. I'm sure there's going to be something more to develop between now and tomorrow. But this is the show called The Box Seats. That's Talent. That's Rodney. That's Fig. I'm Frank. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.